Hey everybody, I'm Matt. I'm a video editor for Click and Learn Software. Just a week ago, I can't believe it, the Click and Learn team returned from a beautiful trip to Puerto Rico. We had an amazing time getting together, working together, getting ideas, and also experiencing Puerto Rico as the beautiful island it is, full of friendly, warm, and helpful people that made sure we had a great trip. And while we were there, we tried to learn as many of the Puerto Rican municipalities as we could. There are 78 municipalities of Puerto Rico across the entire island, and I was able to master about 28 of them in 2 hours by playing the games on our website, clickandlearn.fun. And what's really exciting is that every week on our website, there are free this week games that go through kind of a random cycle. So some games are always free, like the continents and oceans. But to play other games, you do need a membership at this point. But we make sure that every week there's a cycle of free games so you can see what they're all about and have a great time. Because geography is an incredible thing that connects people, brings people together, helps you tap into your interests, the works. And this amazing software, these series of games, the founder of clickandlearn.fun is Bob Reynolds, and he's going to be joining me on stream today so we can get together, play some games, and show you the games that you can play for free this week. So without further ado, let me add Bob Reynolds to the stage. Hey there, Bob.
Hey, Matt. Thank you for inviting me in. As you know, I'm very excited about geography, and along with you, we had such a great time in Puerto Rico. And you really amazed me. You and Mark both, you learned the names and locations of the first 28 municipalities in about a couple of hours one day, and then the next day you scored 100% at test mode. So that inspires me to know that the system is so easy and so powerful.
And I got the 28 municipalities in a few hours, but Mark put even more time in. He actually mastered all 78 municipalities in test mode. And the final level of those games takes the color distinctions on the map away. So he was able to do it without being able to use the colors as a reminder. And while that is a testament to Mark's intelligence, it was the games that helped him get to that point in just a matter of hours. And that can be seen in some of our past streams that we've done.
And there was another thing that made it really a big difference for me, for you and Mark. Both of you've had Spanish classes. You know how to pronounce the names of the municipalities. So it took you about 2 hours to learn the first 28. And then it took Mark, he spent 2 days, 2 hours one day, 2 hours the next day. And then he played in test mode and he scored 100% in test mode. But for me, it took a lot longer because I'm having a hard time pronouncing. For those that speak Spanish or from Puerto Rico, they can fly through it just like you and Mark did. And in 2 to 3 or 4 hours, they can know the names and locations of all 78 municipalities.
So that's fantastic. And I just spoke to our developer, Dell, and he reminded me that our Puerto Rico game is still free this week on the site. So Bob, when we start playing games today, would you like to start with the municipalities of Puerto Rico and show everyone what it's all about?
I would be glad to start with that one. I'm going to I think, add myself to the stage if that's possible. Okay. Or you can add me perhaps.
Okay, so I'll remove my window and then you should have access now.
Okay, so I'm up there now. So here's what I mostly just want to tell everybody is how to get to the website. You go to clickandlearn.fun, simply go to clickandlearn.fun. And I'm not even signed in. You don't have to be signed in or anything to play our free geography games or our games that are free this week. And as Matt said, when you click this thumbnail, It says free this week. Here are the games we have currently set up. And Matt suggests that I get into Puerto Rico. So I click that thumbnail, and I'm going to go right to test mode, because this is, to me, this is very exciting that after just, I'm going to turn off the sound, and I'm going to click go button. So does Matt, does that screen show up for you?
Yep, everything looks sterling so far.
Okay, so that's working?
Yep, all systems are go. We even had a viewer for a bit. So, people are tuning in.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm just going to play the first 20. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. It's randomized, so go for the gold.
Okay, up at the top it asks for Maracao, and I know which of these buttons is Maracao, and that would be this one. When I get the correct answer, I get a green light, and the question changes to Mocha. And when I click the correct button, I get a green light. So I'm going to go through this. If I get it wrong, it asks for Kaoma. And if I click, instead of this button, if I click, let's say, this button, I get it wrong. Okay, that's how you know as you go through it that you're getting right or wrong. So I'm going to go through the next. I've got 3 answered so far, 2 correct and 1 wrong. And I'm going to see if I can get the rest 17 of these correct. I've asked for Aguas Buenas, green light. Arecibo, Juana Diaz. And the cool part for this is we really got together, and Orocovis, and the guys helped me learn how to pronounce the municipalities. Ponce, this is one of the municipalities that Mark and Matt went to. Ay Bonito, that would be this one, green light. Penuelas, Camui, to upper left. Toa Alta, this is Toa Alta. This is Toa Baja, so I'm going to click this button. San Lorenzo, Rio Grande, where we all drove through to get to Luquillo. San German, it asks for San German. Click that button, that's correct. Aguadilla, Guayama. Okay. There's this one up here right next to San Juan. Bayamon would be this one. Manabo would be this one down here, and that's 19 so far. Toa Baja, and that would be this one. And once you got to 20 of those, this button appears. When you click this button, you can stop at 20, 25, 30, whatever you feel that you want to do. For me, quite often I go through all 78 because it's such a rush to be able to locate all 78 correctly, and whether it's 50 states or countries of Europe or whatever. So I'm just going to click that button and show you what happens. It shows you that I got this one wrong. They asked for Coamo, and I clicked Corozal instead. And so I know that I've got 95%. Now that's pretty darn good. But the goals of our system are, of course, as Matt will tell you, that everybody should get 100%. Now I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit with that button up there. And so that's how, it's what I enjoy.
And Bob, just to interject, we have a viewer. So I just want to welcome this viewer to the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Today, we'd love to encourage you to play along with us if you would like to. And if you'd like to leave a comment asking how to get to the site, we'd be happy to stop what we're doing and give you directions to enjoy some of our free games this week. So to our viewer that's online, thank you so much for watching. If you can't play along, that's perfectly fine. But please, if anyone's watching and they want to play too, we'll stop what we're doing and help you get to the website. Yes.
And Matt, do you want to show them how to get to the free game?
Sure. So I will add me to the stage in my other window here. And when you get to the website, you'll see this column here. And I believe, Bob, is it free geography games right here?
No, it should say free this week. You might be at, let me see, you might be at a different website. Go to clickandlearn.fun/learn. clickandlearn.fun/learn.
Okay. Oh, I think I made a typo. There we go. Oh, I should put it in here. www. This is the only time I've ever had trouble with that. Boom. Huh. Oh, .fun/learn. Okay. Sorry for my typos, everybody. Usually I go right in and everything goes. So this is where I went before. Click and Learn Classic.
Yeah, they should not have to do that. They should just be able to go to clickandlearn.fun actually, and it should come up as normal.
All right. Thank you for
There we
bearing
go.
with me, friends. we're in the right spot now.
That's
So I got the same thing as before.
That's still not working. Let me bring up my stage,
Okay.
and I will.
All right, so I'll remove me from the stage, and then we'll be all good.
Yeah, we'll get Della lined up with that. I'm going to go to the stage, and I'm going to go right into clickandlearn.fun. Clickandlearn.fun should be the simple thing that you have to do to get there. Clickandlearn.fun, and you're going to see this layout. Again, I'm not signed in. This is all free. This is all what you see. And when I click this button at the top, free this week. Now, the reason that Matt could not get in is he is one of the administrators and he has some special powers. And I think the programmer has set him up differently than for all of the regular visitors that just go to the website. This is what you should see. When you click free this week, you'll see the games that we have free this week. And if you click this thumbnail, it'll bring you to the one I just played. Click single player. And you can get right back in and play along with us. I'm going to exit. And actually, Matt, I set this one up for some friends in Los Angeles. I am not an expert, so this is not one of the games I'll play, but any of the rest of these. And actually, we set this up for a friend in Tennessee. But today we have South America, the 50 states, or Europe all set up to be free this week. And Matt, if there's other things that you want us to set up for free, I can do that. Just let me know what you'd like me to do.
So thank you for explaining the administrator kind of issue I was having. I do see that I could pull up South America, which is free for everybody from the vantage point that I have. So I'd like to play a game next. I think I'll play a South America run through to play with the audience. So thank you to our viewers today. If you would like help getting to the website and getting to this section, you can interrupt us at any time. We'll be sure to help you. We'd love if you would play along with us. But for now, it looks like it's on me. So I'm going in. And in free geography games, a lot of like the major geographical regions of the world are free all the time. And that includes continents and oceans and also the South America countries. South America countries can also be accessed in the free this week column that Bob directed us all toward. So I'm going to select single player.
Let's learn countries of South America.
And just for everyone's sake, I'm going to silence the voice so we don't hear that while we're going. But I'm going to do my best to focus and whisper while I click. I'm going to hit go, and this is timed, so I have to be focused. So first is, or I can't believe, Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, all right, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. I was 3 seconds over, so I didn't get anything wrong, but I do have to be quicker. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. So I was able to do it. And sometimes, you get through the level and you feel okay. It can be helpful sometimes to hit the repeat 7 button, just so you feel like you're more confident before you advance to a larger number of questions. And I'm just going to do the repeat 7 button again. This is something that Bob has suggested I do to help cement things in my head and make me feel more confident. So I'm going to try again. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. I feel so much better. I'm going to continue. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela. I cleared it. So now this is random order, all the countries. And sometimes I struggle with Colombia, Brazil, not Colombia, Peru, and Venezuela are getting a little cluttered in my head. So I have to see if I can get those right this time. This is Venezuela, Uruguay, Colombia, Chile, Falkland Islands, Paraguay, Suriname, Brazil, Guyana, Bolivia, Peru, Argentina, French Guiana, Ecuador. We cleared it. So it's been cemented, but now it's in test mode. So it's no longer timed. I can just go through it and think. So I'm going to hit go. I'm not worried about the timing. I know that this is Peru, Falkland Islands, Brazil, Guyana, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Ecuador. I've been to Ecuador. It's a beautiful place. Then we're going to do Uruguay, Suriname. All right, Colombia, Paraguay, French Guiana, Venezuela. We got 100%. So there we go. I played this game a few times, but it's important to review because you can lose it. But when you review, it's always easier than learning it as a blank slate for the first time. And throughout his career as a coder and an educator, Bob has always recommended that you should start with South America when you begin your geography journey because it fits so cleanly. The system has you learn 7 new things at a time, and South America has 14 questions. So it's only 2 ascending levels. It's a great way to get kind of an appetizer of what the clickandlearn.fun games are all about.
I got to tell you, Matt, this is so exciting for me to watch you play the games. And what I've done is I've set the screen on full screen so I see the question at the top, and I sit here anticipating, is he going to get it correct? Is he going to get the correct button? Is he going to do the right on the game here? And to me, that is the beauty of this entire system. If you're the student, you get such a rush out of being able to learn all the countries of an entire continent in 24 minutes for South America. And if you're a teacher, to be able to see your students or your children get in here and play the game is really, to me, exciting and inspiring. So you did really good on that.
And I wanted to say hello to our viewer. Dell, thank you so much for joining. Dell is one of the main developers of clickandlearn.fun. He has worked on this for years. He is always refining and thinking of ways to improve and offers excellent feedback and insight. We really enjoyed spending time with you, Dell, while we were in Puerto Rico. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Dell is a great guy.
And he's been with us for over 30 years. It's really been a great journey together to build this system through all of the changes in technology. When we first started out, everything was just on diskettes, which we had in these little cases, and you had to install it on every computer. But technology is so amazing now, and Dell has been able to bring us up through all of that. So,
and I love the education of the system and the way that it forces you to focus, learn, try and try again, start from knowing nothing and work your way up. But one thing we've talked about too is also the relevance of knowing countries of the world. The World Cup is going on right now, and so many countries all over the globe are competing in the event. And it's great when you start to know more countries of the world, you also know roughly how far away people came to come to the United States to play another country in the sport. And it's been really exciting. A few weeks ago, I went to the Symphony in Newark, and Brazil was playing nearby. And all these people were wearing Brazil uniforms, and I couldn't tell if some of the people were just people from Newark or people who had come all the way from another continent to see these games in person. And it was so jubilant and full of joy. And I won't dwell on this for too long, but it also helps you to absorb the news better. And sometimes there isn't always good news about what's happening in the world. Recently, there was a terrible earthquake in Venezuela. It affected a lot of people. Lives were lost. And playing this game, when I clicked on Venezuela, it reminded me of what those people were going through when that catastrophe happened. It did happen while we were in Puerto Rico. So right at the top of South America, this horrible earthquake took place. It's near a coastline. When there's an earthquake near a coastline, it can lead to tsunamis and great waves. So just playing this game, I think of where my friends live. I think of people from all over the world traveling to the United States. I think of places I can go. But I also understand that knowing where these places are helps me to understand or have a better concept of how people are affected by natural disasters and things happening all over the planet. Because I forgot until I replayed today, like, oh my gosh, Venezuela is right at the top of the continent. It's by the water. It probably is close to a lot of Central American countries and the island nations that are there too. So geography is fun. It's great to know where things are, but the application of that knowledge is so vast. And we hope that it makes life better for all of you that want to dive in and engage with it.
And it also makes you confident in yourself. When I meet somebody from around the world, and they look different than me, they have an accent and so forth, I'm confident enough to ask, where are you from? And if I did not know the names of the countries of the world, and I asked, where are you from? And they said, I'm from Bangladesh. If I had no idea where that was, I'm kind of lost and I lack confidence. But once you know the names, locations, the countries of the world, and someone says they're from Kenya, you can say something nice, even if you just tell them that I know where Kenya is located. So that to me is one of the beauties of and importance of geography knowledge.
I had a random thought today where, as Bob knows, I got called into jury duty twice this year. And I wasn't called in for one of them. I would have missed Puerto Rico if I was called in. So I was sweating, worrying about that. But then I pushed another jury service that was more local to January. And it made me think about the lottery system for how you're selected for jury duty. And if I was involved in politics in the United States in any way, and I could create or propose legislation, I would apply the same lottery service that selects citizens for jury duty and create an ambassador system where if you register to vote, you can be selected to be a delegate or an ambassador to another country. You can go with your work colleagues. You could go with people in a similar field, and all expenses paid, you go to make friends and meet people from around the world. And I feel like this would be so good for the country to be able to send engineers to Germany and have a translator and talk about how our lives are similar or different or share their mutual love of things. Send, everybody, because I love travel. And I love that I've had so many opportunities to do so, but I understand it's a privilege. Some people don't get the opportunity to do these great things and meet these great people And it would kind of balance out how jury duty could be a drag if you could be selected through jury duty, but also be selected to get a paid week off of work to go somewhere and meet people around the world and hopefully come back with new friends and new connections. So when you register to vote, you're stuck with jury duty every 6 or 7 years, but you can also cross your fingers and hope you're being sent to Japan or South America or anywhere around the world just to represent the United States and hopefully be able to experience such a meaningful opportunity. So that was just a random thought I had today.
Well, you know, Matt, when we first created the system, the goal was only one thing: help students score 100% on the test of the United States. And then we made a game to help students learn the counties of Oklahoma. And that was our initial goal, just to help students score 100%. But once we created more games and I learned the countries of the rest of the world, I realized the importance of geography the importance of our system was not just to help students score 100% on the maps and the test. The importance was we can be, as Matt just said, we can become ambassadors for world peace, one person at a time, just by being nice to someone and saying, where are you from? When Matt and I and Mark and Dale were in Salt Lake City last year, we were out on the Great Salt Flats, and a couple of ladies came up just to watch what we were doing. And we asked, where are you from? And they were from Japan. We had a conversation with them. When we're in Puerto Rico, where there was a guy at the cafe, we said, where are you from? And he said he's from Rio Grande. Well, we knew that Rio Grande was one of the municipalities. He said he just moved there from Culebra. So we had a conversation, and that is the beauty, real power of the system. It's not just to help you get 100%. It's to help you be more confident, have less fear of the world, and be more understanding of people who don't look like us.
And Bob, that was very well put, because a lot of people that are joining us on stream, they're being introduced to Click and Learn for the first time. And this is a long-standing project that you and Dell have worked on. And we know that in the United States, geography is not as big of a focus as it was when you were a student. Geography used to be a class. There used to be full-time geography teachers. And that is becoming less and less common today. And we love geography because we love travel. We love seeing the world. We love meeting new people. We love learning new things. And I think when geography isn't present in education, you're missing out on so much that is out there. Even if it's not just people to be interested in and hearing about their lives and their interests, I do believe that geography helps tap in to the things you love. Just this weekend, my cousin texted me out of the blue. He knows I love hiking and filming and looking at all these new places. And half of my family lives in Wisconsin, but I have a very narrow view of what Wisconsin is like. And he was telling me, Matt, you've never been to Western Wisconsin. And when he showed me Mineral County and all these different places in Wisconsin, it might not have been Mineral County. Let me just make sure I have my facts straight because I wrote them down. It was Mineralville and Dodgetown. And it was such beautiful forests and lakes and places. And even in the context of the United States, our home country, every state has something in it that you would never expect. New Jersey, where I'm from, is not just interstates and cities. It's not just the armpit of America. But even in the interstate part, there could be art museums, a great movie, meeting new people, phenomenal food. Any kind of food you want, you can find in New Jersey. And I love nature. There's nature in New Jersey too. but sometimes our preconceived notions of states we've never been to deprive us of all the wonderful things that we can find there. And I was just like that this weekend when my cousin's telling me how beautiful the forests and lakes of Wisconsin are. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's so flat. There's farmland, Milwaukee. That's all I really know. But it was cool that even though I kind of preached that, I'm still finding out there's some preconceived notions that I need to get over to truly appreciate the beauty and everything every state in our own country has to offer.
And one of the things that Matt just mentioned is that geography used to be more prominent. We used to have full-time geography teachers, and it was a course we had to take. But the difference is, back in those years, when I was in 7th grade, we spent the whole semester trying to learn the 50 states, and we actually failed. We spent the next semester trying to learn major countries of the world. And at the end of the year, end of the school year, when we had the state required standards tests, we had to take these tests to identify, let's say, 15 states and 10 countries of the world. And honestly, we would have all failed those tests had it not been that we had in the classroom a big map of the United States on one side and a big map of the world on the other side. But with Click and Learn, it doesn't take a full semester to try and learn the 50 states. With Click and Learn, you can learn the names and locations of 50 states in as quickly as an hour and a half, which we have videos of students doing that. And for Matt last week in Puerto Rico, he went through the entire system in, I think it was 40 minutes. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, I think it was about 40 minutes.
And it's so much easier with Click and Learn that you don't have to spend all that time. And we talk about screen time, how they're trying to get away from a lot of this. When your students, when you can play a game about South America and in 24 minutes or less, get to where you can recite all the countries of South America in 14 minutes and score 100% on the test mode, plus you have more confidence, as Matt already said, you have more confidence in yourself and you can talk to people from at least that part of the country, whatever you've learned.
And Bob has mentored me on that front quite a bit, even if he doesn't realize that he has. When he meets new people or someone's kind of around, he will ask, "Where are you from?" And that's made me more confident, even though he hasn't told me, "Matt, you should do this." I've observed that behavior from Bob, and I've tried to implement that into my life and try to use the knowledge I've gained from geography to help kind of relate to that person or show them what I've learned. I don't know the countries of Central America by heart, but I needed a taxi ride from the Newark train station one night, and it was very late. And a man named Josue picked me up. And I asked him where he was from on my way home. We had a very nice conversation, but he was from Costa Rica. And I didn't know too much, but I remembered watching a video of Bob playing the Central American countries game, and I gave him an estimate of where I thought it was, and I was right. And he was very impressed by that. And part of the reason he was impressed, unfortunately, is he's not from the United States, and he knows that Americans don't really have the best handle of geography. That's something that the whole nation could work on to kind of bring up the average a little bit. But after we had that conversation and I showed him that I at least had a concept of where Costa Rica was on the map and what you could see and do there, he invited me to visit his restaurant. He wasn't just a cab driver. He was a chef at a restaurant on a street that I had been to before. And I have his cell phone number, so I could still visit him this year. But I think now that you've brought that up, Bob, I should reach out to Josue again, because he was very kind to pick me up so late and also share that conversation with me. Working 2 jobs, too. He was a very hardworking person.
Well, that reminds me of, you mentioned Central America. I was in actually Buffalo Wild Wings watching the the NBA playoff games. And there was all these TVs there, and I was at the counter, and there's a guy a couple seats away from me. And one of the channels they had on was in Spanish. And I said to the bartender, I said, David, why is that in Spanish? And he said, it doesn't matter what language is in. You can see them play and you can see the score, and that's all that matters. But this guy 2 seats away from me said to me, he says, I speak Spanish. If you have any questions, let me know. And we were getting ready to head to Puerto Rico. And I said, actually, I do have some questions. So I had him explain how to pronounce some of those municipalities, like Barranquitas and Quebradillas and Florida even. But so I asked him, I said, where are you from? He said, I am from Central America. And I said, no, I want to know what country you're from. He was kind of surprised. And he said he was from Guatemala. And I said, Guatemala, just west of Honduras, right above Nicaragua. And we talked about his country, but he was so surprised and impressed that some old white guy knew where he was from. And this is important. It's not trivia. It is not trivia. Maybe trivia is what is their biggest import, what's their biggest export, and what's their currency and so forth. But knowing the names of the countries where someone lived is not trivia. It's important. And as that particular game ended that he was watching, he got it and he shook my hand. He said, thank you very much. It was nice visiting with you. And that is the type of individual conversations you can have with people and show respect for. Actually, you show respect for yourself to be able to show that you care enough about the world.
And you mentioned screen time too. You can play the games and, look at a screen for a bit, but you're engaging. You're not scrolling through Instagram. You're not letting all that time fly by you, because I'm guilty of doom scrolling, especially on Instagram. I get kind of shocked at how much time goes by. And when you get locked into your little square of that glowing screen, it just kind of sucks the day away from you. And playing these games, you play for an hour or two, you review, you lock it in. But I really find that knowledge makes it easier to look up, look someone in the eye, and have a conversation like the one you just described to me. And I think it's really cool that we both have stories about meeting someone from Central America, knowing a little bit about his life and what his experiences are from playing the games. And I noticed, Bob, that in the column that I have access to on the site, Central America is something I could select. I've never played the game before. Would our next game of the day, would you like me to play Central America and see how far I can get into it?
Sure. Do you have access to that game?
Yes, I accessed it through Free Geography Games. It might be my administrator access, but to whoever's watching, if you would like to join us or have us help you, give you a guide to how you can play along, please stop us at any time. We would be happy to show you how to get in so you can play while you're watching the stream. But I think I'm going to go with Bob's idea. I think I'm going to go into Central America. I've never played this game, so I'm starting completely from scratch. But hopefully I'll at least lock in Costa Rica for my buddy Josue, who gave me a lovely ride home from Newark.
And so we have 7 games for 7 countries in Central America, but we also have 4 other questions to show as references, like where's Mexico, where's Cuba, and so forth. So, Matt, I'm going to enjoy watching you get into this for the first time. And as you said, other people, if they want to play along with you, they can go to the thumbnail that says Free Geography Games, and they can play along with Matt as he does this. So, okay, Matt, let's see what we can do here.
Okay, so Belize. I actually have no idea where Belize is. I'm going to hit the Show Me button. It is the yellow one right here, and because I hit Show Me, a red circle appeared to help me. So that's Belize. Costa Rica. I think it's, no, that's Honduras. Ah, that's Costa Rica. That's where Josue is from. El Salvador. That's Panama. That makes sense. I remember Panama being connected to South America. And what helps me remember that is there is an incredible show on Apple TV. It is with Ray Seahorn, Pluribus. Pluribus is an incredible show, and no spoilers, but one of the characters in that show walks from South America to New Mexico. And it's an incredible, beautifully shot journey in the series. So that's what I'm going to use to help me remember that Panama is connected to South America and Central America, because this character goes on an incredible journey on foot, and it's shot very well. I'm not going to hit the time limit, but I'm doing these 7 questions for the first time. But this will help me remember Costa Rica, Belize, and then this is Panama. I'm supposed to find El Salvador. This is El Salvador right here. This is Honduras. This is Guatemala, Honduras, and then Nicaragua here. And Panama is last right there. So I was over a minute over, but as you know, I was kind of yapping through the whole thing. Let's see how much those stuck. So Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, this is Honduras, Nicaragua, I think this is El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, oh, this is Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama. So I'm going to repeat the 7 because I'm kind of grasping it a little better, but I do need to review. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama. I'm going to repeat that again. I did get 100%, but it's not fully cemented yet. So Belize, Costa Rica, then we have El Salvador. Okay. That's Guatemala, Honduras. Oh, El Salvador is the yellow one right here. Okay. El Salvador. Sometimes the colors, I should just let myself remember them that way. Nicaragua, Panama. I'm going to do that again. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Guatemala blue, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. So I think I should use the colors to my advantage to help me learn. As you advance through the game, sometimes they take the colors away and make them even more challenging. But since this is an introduction for me, maybe it would help me to say the color as I go to help me remember. I'm going to repeat the 7 again. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama. All right, that was 100% and in the time limit, but I'm going to try again. Okay. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama.
Very good, Matt. That was excellent. And I just noticed Matt was talking about the colors. Well, the first 3 coincidentally are all yellow. Belize, Costa Rica, and El Salvador. I never thought about that before. Go ahead.
So yeah, when you're taking a test at school, especially back in the day when geography was a more frequent course that you would take, you'd probably be looking at a black and white piece of paper, and you wouldn't have the advantage of the colors. But since you're learning it for the first time, let the colors help you. Let like little references and little symbols and things guide you, even if it's something made up and only makes sense to you. You don't need to know Apple TV's Pluribus to know where Panama is, but it helped me every time. So you can come up with little theories and things and connections to help you get it down as well. But now we're going up to 11 questions. So we'll see how well I do. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Cuba, Haiti. Oh, that's Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica. I should know that. Jamaica and Mexico. Alrighty, I'm going to repeat that again just to make sure I got it. So Cuba, this is Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico. Now it should be random order. So we'll see how I do with that. Haiti, Panama, Honduras, Belize, Cuba, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Jamaica, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica. All right, I got 100% in random, so something stuck. That's pretty good. All right, Bob, should I go right into test mode and see?
Yes, go right into test mode. Let's see how well you do on that. I'm expecting 95% and 100% after your second try. Let's see what you can do, buddy.
Let's see what I can do. All right, we got Cuba, Guatemala, Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Jamaica, Haiti, El Salvador. Oh, wait. El Salvador, Belize, Honduras. All right, 100%. Great. I've never played this game before.
That is excellent. And it just shows the power of the system. You don't have to spend a week or two to learn these 11 places. It just took Matt, less than 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to go from guessing to actually knowing. And one of the goals of our system is to be able to recite these all in 11 seconds in the same order, alphabetically. So I would like to do that just to show, okay?
Oh, go for it. Here, I'll add you up. Go for the gold.
Okay. Alphabetically, and the pattern helps us as well. When I think of Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, the places we have clicked, the pattern we have clicked, it becomes kinesthetically part of the learning process. So let's see if I can do this in 11 seconds. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico. And the goal is 11 seconds, and I beat the clock. And that is what you as a teacher or you as a student with your friends, challenge your friends, challenge your students, challenge your grandkids to get in and play and be able to do that. Because when you can recite in 11 seconds or 50 seconds for the 50 states, you really do know, or the 254 counties of Texas in 254 seconds, you really do know where these are located. Because as I was reciting, I may have been doing this subconsciously, I don't remember, but as I recite, your students will usually point, they have a mental map, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, and they have a mental map and they're pointing to where they click, because that's part of the process of helping you learn and remember. Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, alphabetically GH, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and then the 4 we've added for reference, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico. That's a big part of why this works so well.
And I agree that the system really helps you stay focused because of the time limit, but I also think you've really found a sweet spot with 7 questions at a time. And it's 7 questions at a time alphabetically. So when you mentioned the mental map, that is going across the map and remembering the alphabetical course on the map. And of course, on a test, you might not be required to go through it alphabetically, but if doing that helps you remember not only what comes next, but also where on the map you have to go, It's whatever works. There's so many different brain exercises the games put you through simultaneously, which I think helps solidify the information and helps people of every different brain types. I don't know all the specifics of how memorization works or how some people are better at memorizing than others, but here we have colors, visuals, we have kind of the mental map where you see the course of everything. There's so many different strategies here, and even if someone is colorblind and wouldn't be able to see the colors on the map, there are still things here that could help them solidify the information, and they wouldn't feel left out if they were doing this with classmates in school or their friends for free time. We have thought about some things. We consulted with some teachers in the state of Utah with their Secretary of Education and their offices. And we did realize that a blind student might not be able to play the games or be able to experience the map in the same way. But they could learn to recite and play along with students in that way. And we're always brainstorming new ideas, but it is good that for the most part, the games are very inclusive for all the different ways that people learn and memorize. So even if you're not good at one method, you can always sort of find another one that works better for you.
And Matt mentioned that the sweet spot is 7 questions at a time. When you play the game for the 50 states, if we had all 50 buttons on the screen and asked you to find Alabama or Wyoming, it'd be very, very difficult. But when we start with just 7, and the first one is Alabama, there's only 7 buttons on the screen at a time for each new level. And we all know that Alabama is somewhere in the South. There's only 2 buttons down in that part. We have Alabama and Arkansas. So it makes it so much easier for the student to click Alabama. In addition, once that button disappears and we ask for the next question, there's only 6 buttons on the screen to choose from. And then 5 and 4 and 3. So it makes it so much easier to go through this questions 7 at a time.
And that's process of elimination. So we talked about the mental map, we talked about the colors, the alphabetical order, but then process of elimination, that's one of the best things about not multiple choice tests, but like the matching tests and quizzes that I used to take as a younger student. Because as you answered more questions, you could cross things out and see how much was left. And that would help you get 100% on a test. And sometimes tests aren't that easy to do. But when you're learning it for the first time, baby steps. Because if you let yourself learn it the easy way, you'll be able to master it the hard way at a pace that makes sense and is gradual and set up in a way that I think is very intuitive.
And that's exactly right. The other thing is you can work at your own pace. For example, if I had a really tough time with Puerto Rico because of the pronunciation, it might take me a lot longer. With Matt, he knows how to pronounce words in Spanish, so he flew through it quicker than I did. But either way, we can all get to the point where we score 100%. Nobody comes in second. This is not a system where we say, rank your students. Oh, Johnny got way up here and Mary is down here and Fred was over here. This is a system where everybody should score 100%. And the joy of scoring 100%, knowing this is what really personally drives me. And when I get up in the middle of the night, honestly, I'll bring up the game about Texas or Puerto Rico. I will sit there and play because it is really an exciting system.
Our friend Mark, who's in the thumbnail of this stream, when you clicked on it, he's a highly intelligent person. And one thing we really like about Mark is he pushes us to do our best work. So on one of our early streams, I was playing games that I had already played before. And he pushed me to do the Puerto Rican municipalities on stream for the first time. And there was 28 in that round that I had to learn. And I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to keep up with Bob and Mark. They're both really smart and they both love geography. But within an hour, I was able to score a 92. And I was thrilled by that 92 because I barely knew any before I dived in. And that was the first hour I had ever engaged with it. So to get 100% for every player, I hope you hit that milestone. But even if you don't, and you get most of them, or are even familiar with all of them, that is still incredibly valuable, because I don't right now remember every country of Central America, but now I can remember all of the names of the countries, and I have a rough idea of where they are. And that alone might be enough to means a lot to somebody who you might meet from Central America. The fact that you know the country exists and have an idea of where it is might be enough to spark the same conversation, or also make a meaningful connection, whether it's to a person, a place, or a personal interest or hobby that you might have.
And that's a good point, Matt. As you said, you might not be able to go through them right now, but with our system, you don't have to go through, if you're reviewing the 50 states, you don't have to go through 7, 14, 21, 28, as you did in the learning process. You can go right to test mode. So Matt, why don't you bring up Central America again and show them how to go. You can exit from that and show them how to start over and begin right in test mode or review mode, and practice and review, because once you've learned, it only takes a minute or two to review.
I agree, because I did just score 100% on stream, but I did know that I'm going to have to review to let it really stick. So I hope I can do that. But I'll go to the Central America game. I'll select test mode in this box or rectangle right here. But then I'll select single player. Voice is off. I'm going to hit go. So here's Mexico, Cuba, Costa Rica, Belize, Haiti, El Salvador, Panama, Jamaica, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua. Okay, awesome. All right. So I was worried that I would have lost it already, and I'm not 100% confident yet, but I'm happy to see that I did very well with that. And maybe the next challenge I can do in the future is see if there is a non-color map of Central America available, and see if it's still locked in that way. Because I will admit the yellows have helped me quite a bit at the beginning.
And one thing about, if you're a teacher or a parent and you've got your whole class of students, and if, let's say, they've learned the 50 states or the countries of Europe or Africa, when you start your class the next day, it doesn't take the full class period to review. You can have all of your students recite the 50 states in unison. And so in 50 seconds, your students go through that. And if they stumble, they're going to have the internal desire to do better next time, because they know the teachers are going to ask that same thing tomorrow. Let's spend 50 seconds reciting the 50 states, and we do it in unison. And then you go on to, as a teacher, you go on to talking about world history, or United States history, or and your students absorb more of what you're telling them because they already know the foundation. And that's another benefit of learning, knowing the names and locations of 50 states, because when you talk about history, they absorb what you're telling them better, and they'll probably get higher scores on those tests as well.
So there's so many different applications. We acknowledge that geography is not a single class in schools across America anymore, at least as widely as they were. It usually gets integrated into social studies. It's a unit of your social studies class that you would learn geography. But we believe geography is very important. It has many valuable applications to life. And even if the only way you can engage in geography is not in social studies, but on your own time, I think it's very rewarding. It's enjoyable. And I hope it helps you find people and things and places that give you joy or pique your curiosity. So we try to relay it to you in every context, whether you're a student that has a big test and you have to learn this for social studies and it's not being taught in class the way that helps you. The Click and Learn system is perfect for that. It is a geography mecca in that way. And we won't go into too many specifics today, but we've used the Click and Learn system, or at least Bob and Del have done the work and the coding to apply the Click and Learn system to other subjects like vocabulary, ACT prep, anatomy. The same things can apply to those things too. And if you look through our Instagram reels, Bob has even done some Taylor Swift trivia by using the Click and Learn games to learn it. So our main focus is geography. We love geography, but everything that clickandlearn.fun has to offer isn't even actually limited to geography. But right now as a team, we agreed that it should be our major focus. But we love the Click and Learn system. We love geography. But we also acknowledge that it applies to the learning of so many different topics. We've even talked about mathematics as well, and we don't fully know how to integrate that just yet, but we know that our friend Mark is a math and science wizard. He teaches at a university. He's a professional tutor, mostly in math and science. And he's been giving us ideas on how to implement that into those subjects as we figure that out. But yeah, it's amazing how many games Bob and Del have created over the years. Would you say there's thousands of games on the site, Bob?
We have at least 1,000, and we've got about at least 450 geography games. But one of the things that that Matt just mentioned, he talked about learning about Taylor Swift. For me, I'm really interested in the Indiana Fever, and Caitlin Clark is such a phenomenal. I wanted to learn about her life, and so I used one of the books. There's a company that makes the Who Is books, and they had so many different games that we could create. We created hundreds of games from that. But I did some research online, and I found out about Caitlin Clark's life, and I created a game about her life. How many points she scored at different times and where she played. She started out playing with the boys because they didn't have a girls team. All these things. So whatever you want to learn, whatever topic you're interested in, whether it's Pokemon characters or you want to learn about dinosaurs or anything, there we go.
They're right in the driver's seat with me every day.
I had no idea what Pokemon was, and when Matt and Mark started talking about it, it might be a generational thing because I had no idea what they're talking about. For me, it was dinosaurs when I was their age. We talked about what a Triceratops or whatever it was, and we had little characters. We taught each other as kids. But the other thing is, as Matt also mentioned, we have so many other packages. One of those is anatomy. And when we were creating, I hired he turned out to be the valedictorian of his high school. I did not know that when I hired him. I just know he looked like a smart kid. And so we created all these games for the 50 states, games about different things in all the states. And at the end of that summer, he said, okay, Del says we have over 2,100 games in the Click and Learn system.
Holy cow.
And we're adding more all the time because it is easy to create your games. It is so exciting to create your game, to share those with your students or your classmates. And when Matt creates some games about Pokemon, I might get in and play one of his easier games, like maybe the first 20 major characters. But so as we ended that summer where we created the games for all, where Benjamin created the games for all 50 states, he said to me he was going to be going to college and he was going to be a doctor. And he said to me, he said, we can create games for anatomy because it's just like geography. when you put a skeleton on the screen and you say, where's the frontal bone or the sternum or the femur? It's the same way. You click, if you see the question, you click and learn, click and learn, click and learn all the way through. So the second summer he worked for us, we created, I think it's about 24 anatomy games to learn cardiovascular system, whatever. But my point is, we can have games about almost any topic that you or your students or your friends aren't interested in learning.
And we keep talking about our Puerto Rico trip, but 4 members of our team were able to meet up in Puerto Rico and have some great time brainstorming, catching up, just sharing ideas with one another. And I had a great opportunity to talk to Dell, our developer, during that time. And I guess I consider myself an artist. I make videos and write scripts in my spare time. And Dell was talking about the value of real intelligence. It is an incredible turning point in the digital age right now in the world, where artificial intelligence is being implemented all across the board in all different walks of life. And while it's amazing what artificial intelligence can do, there are some positives. It can certainly help to organize your thoughts. It can help with spell checking and email. I've even read that it's detected cancer in the body faster than any other technology available, which I think is incredible. But sometimes when we rely too much on artificial intelligence, we lose out on the opportunity to gain real intelligence and rely on our own skills and kind of perfect our own crafts. There's some people that you miss out on learning for yourself when you rely on artificial intelligence too much. And there are some parts of Click and Learn software that AI is used to help improve the code, improve the website, and help us get our thoughts together. But we don't use it for inspiration, and we certainly don't use it to learn for us. When you play these games, the knowledge you gain and the information that gets locked into your brain is the game's gift to you. You are gaining intelligence from the games. The games aren't telling you what the countries are for you. And we really want to emphasize the value of human, real intelligence, not as a way to dismiss artificial intelligence. There are many applications in society and the workplace that it can be really useful. But as human beings, we should never fully relinquish our ability to learn and learn things for ourselves. And we're very proud to say that Click and Learn software, while it is technology, it is digital. There's this classic way of learning that is built into it that truly gives you the ability to learn. And as we continue to work together as a team, we hope to continue to marinate that and refine that sentiment.
And I'll give you an example of that. A lot of times when I'm practicing to give a presentation at a school or a conference, as I'm driving, I will give my little lecture out loud. And I was talking about the importance of geography and how, even with mathematics, which I loved as a kid, I loved algebra. It was like a game. But so in my presentation while I'm driving along, I said, even with mathematics, all you have to say is, hey, Google, what is 7 times 8 divided by 4? And that your computer will tell you. And as I said that, I'm driving along, and all of a sudden my car starts speaking to me. And it said, 7 times 8 divided by 4 is, 14 or whatever. And I hadn't expected that to happen. But when I said, hey, Google, my car listened to me and it heard my question and it answered. So a lot of the math questions and conversation, even grammar answers, can be helped with artificial intelligence or with the computers. But none of those systems teaches you to be kind to another person and to care about the world. And that's what Matt was talking about. We can have this artificial intelligence, but nothing that does not help us connect with the world and connect with what we call things, what I believe things that really matter. And that's being kind to each other and showing respect for other people around the world.
I completely agree. And I truly equate the days where I get too sucked into my phone screen are the days where I waste time and I don't feel good about myself. And it is a bad habit of mine. Part of my job is related to video and editing and social media. So I know that screens are always going to be a part of my life. But when they deprive me of human connection and socializing and having the energy to call up a friend or look people in the eye and say hello, you're missing out on so much of life. And I truly believe that engaging with these games, learning more about geography, and also appreciating the skills that come from remembering things for yourself, that's priceless. And I really appreciate everything that's done for me. So we live in a digital age. Our world is kind of figuring out just how much AI is going to be a part of our work and our daily lives. But we love the classic feel of Click and Learn and everything it represents and the gift of the knowledge it gives to you by playing the games. And we hope you have fun playing them. And we hope you see the results in your life that help you lift your head a little higher, look someone in the eye, and have that meaningful connection. Because even in the news, I read that people are a lot lonelier right now. And it could be, the climate, it could be current events, it could be things they're going through. But if something as simple as knowing of another place or knowing more about your own country and being able to relate to people better because of it could contribute to that happiness, we sincerely hope it would, but we also believe it can. So as someone that gets sucked into the phone too often and kind of doom scrolls a little bit, I found that Click and Learn and Bob and Del and Mark are the people that can really snap me out of it. And of course, geography is what led me to the friendships with them. And I'm very grateful for that.
I'll give you another example. Years ago, when we just had released the online version, and we put the system online for the first time, I got an email out of the blue from someone I didn't know. And he said that he found the system, he learned how to make his own games, and he started creating games to help him practice for his tests at college. I think he was a biology or botany student. And after a couple of weeks, his professor, the dean of the university, called him into the office. And he goes into the dean's office, and all of his professors were in the room. And the first question they asked him was, "David, are you cheating?" And he says, "What?" And they said, your test scores went from an average C, or in some cases a high C, to an A+ overnight. We think you're cheating. And David was shocked. I didn't know who this kid was. He was shocked by this. And he said, "No, I found something online. This game, this software." And he told him that he could create his own games to help him prepare for his own tests. And he did that, and the professor said, the dean said, "Can you show us?" He said, "No." He said, "We'll give you half a college credit if you can show us how the system works, how you did that." So he gave a presentation to the professors and showed them how to use Click and Learn to create your own games and play the games and score 100%. But as Matt just mentioned, when we were in Salt Lake City at the Utah State Board of Education, they emphasized something called the durable skills. And that is...
I remember most of them: creativity, collaboration, communication, and it might be in my notes, but if you remember it, Bob, you get the last one.
critical thinking.
There we go.
And when you make your own game to help you prepare for a test, you have to use all four of those, whether you do them by yourself or as a group. You have to critical thinking. What is the teacher? What would the teacher might have on the test? What did the teacher emphasize in the classroom or the notes or in the book we're supposed to be reading? And then use the creativity to put those questions into a click and learn game, which you connect and communicate with your fellow students to help them also, because it's not just I want to score 100%. I want to help my classmates. I want to help my students. But when you create your game, you're using all four of those durable skills. We learned so much in Salt Lake City about the way new way education is moving in the country. So
Yes, that was in June of 2025 last year. It was such a productive trip. And even though every state's legislation and wording might be different state to state, the Utah seminar was very informative. And I still think about the durable skills. I think they're very important for students. And I think that was very succinctly put and well defined. Creativity, being able to invent and come up with your own ideas. Critical thinking, being able to solve problems and see the moving parts of things behind certain topics. Communication, being able to convey what you know or what you need to others around you. And collaboration, being able to put the group before yourself and being able to work as a team. I think if any student has these skills going into their education or their life, they'll be able to tackle pretty much anything, even without having a complete mastery or an encyclopedic knowledge of a particular topic. And I agree, when we left that meeting, we knew that Click and Learn was all about the durable skills. And we don't have to emphasize the wording of the durable skills in everything that we do, but it's been an excellent guide in kind of being able to articulate how effective Click and Learn can be and how valuable all of the knowledge and skills it can grant the player throughout all of it.
And another thing that they brought to our attention, which to my attention I was not aware of, but there's still something called UDLs, and that's Universal Design for Learning. And they gave us a complete list of, must have been, I don't know, Matt, maybe 100 different things that they want software to provide to their students in this, what they call UDL, Universal Design for Learning method. And together, Mark and Matt and I went through all of those, maybe 100, maybe just 80 different requirements. And we found that Click and Learn meets all of those, supports all of those, except for students who might be blind, as Matt just mentioned. But for deaf students, hard of hearing students, gifted and talented students that take longer to go through the process, we don't hold students back, but we do let them have their time to build their skills at whatever speed they need. So that was another important, valuable part of our trip to Salt Lake City.
We learned so much about how education is organized and put together, and also the process it takes for programmers and curriculum and all these things to get their materials passed through. And it's very elaborate. We also learned that if you go the private school route, there's less parameters as there are at the statewide federal level. And we've learned so much. We kind of learned that we're at a crossroads in Puerto Rico where our user base might not necessarily be a classroom. It could be people that just want to learn on their own time and have fun. And we think it's equally valuable for the classroom, and also people that just want to play and love geography. And we're very interested to see if that momentum would carry to other subjects and topics, and also if people like have the desire to create their own games in the future, and that we can stream and make more emphasis on the process that it would require to create your own games on the site. That feature is available. And right now we're just trying to see, if you're on the stream with us, interrupt us anytime. We'll help you get to the site. You can check it out for yourself. But if you enjoy watching us prattle on and play, either or, you go right ahead. But this is such a rich and valuable website. There's so much that's possible through it. And even the people involved with making it see even more possibilities every month with what could be done and what could be achieved through it. And the value is something even beyond durable skills, even beyond curriculum. Just what it's brought to our personal lives and memories is valuable enough. But sorry, Bob, please continue.
Yeah, and I'll give you another example, exactly like Matt is saying. It's not just for the classroom or their school district. It's for individuals who really care about geography. I attended a concert in Los Angeles a few months ago, and I was talking to a couple of people that were in the concert, and one of them, I always ask, about geography, and one of the guys is 14 years old, and he said he was in taking geography as an elective in Los Angeles in his area. And so we talked some more, and then I talked to his mom, and it turned out they are from Italy. They travel back and forth, and they care about geography, and they care about the world. And I told them about the software and about the system, and we talked more, and they invited me back. I said, I'm be glad to come out and show you how the system works. And so I went to Los Angeles, and the mom and dad and the two boys, one was 12 and one was 14. And I showed them how the system worked. And then they each had their laptops. And I said, I want you to, first of all, I gave them a pre-test of South America, the blank map of South America, this map. And I told them, just write an A for any country that starts with the letter A, and a B with any country that starts with the letter B, and so forth. And I gave them a couple minutes, and I collected those papers, and essentially their score was about 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Because the two of them, one of them got one country correct, but they cared about geography. They wanted to learn. So I showed them how the system worked. They sat down and played. I told them it takes about 24 minutes at maximum to be able to do that. And they got in and started playing. And in less than 5 minutes, one was 14 and one was 12. Both of them were able to score 100% on that blank map. And both of them tried to recite in 14 seconds. They got them out of order, and they weren't perfect the first time, but at least after a few times, they knew the goals. The goal is score 100%. The goal is to be able to recite. That proves you know how to do it. So as Matt said, it's not just for a school, it's for individuals who care about geography. And I'm going to do a little commercial break here for a second, Matt. With our system, as an individual user, you can go to our system and sign up, create your own user ID and your own password, which is an avatar. And for less than $20 a person, you get full access to the entire system for a full year. It's online. You can play 24 hours a day, anytime you want. Or comes up to about, I don't know, that's less than $3 a month for you to have full access. And we do need people to sign up and play and to subscribe, because as you subscribe, we get better and better at what we produce. And as you subscribe, we have the ability to add more games, more products, more content for you and everybody else that uses this system. So that's just a little quick commercial about how inexpensive this system is.
It's inexpensive, it's accessible, and it's also at a point where we're at a great point where if there's people on stream, it's a pretty manageable amount. We're happy to receive feedback, answer questions. In the recent streams, people have asked, can you make this game free this week? And we're at a point now where we're able to read every comment and do so. And we hope that someday we get some more traffic through here. We think that what we're showing the world here is extremely rewarding and valuable. But you're striking while the iron's hot. If you want to see the counties of Tennessee, we'll play it. You know, Bob here has done the counties of Texas. I am petrified of playing that game, but this man can do it. There are 254 counties of Texas, and Bob has not only scored 100% on the game helped him be able to recite them in alphabetical order in under 4 minutes, which boggles my mind. And I won't make him do that on stream, but there are videos on our channel of him doing it multiple times. So we're not doing it on stream, but if you don't believe me, I have edited this. I have shown you this. It is unbelievable the challenges that you can embark on and succeed in with the help of this specific and well-crafted learning system.
And the other thing is what Matt just mentioned is, you know, we have been asked in the comments, can you do the counties of North Carolina or Tennessee and so forth? But to me, the biggest challenge was Texas with 254 counties. And I am so excited about that I live in Arizona, but my license plate is TX space 254, Texas 254. That's my license plate. Because as Matt mentioned, he has videos of me reciting the 254 counties, playing the game to score, just like he did on Central America. Take that game, put it into test mode. All 254 questions are on the screen, all 254 buttons. And that is something that, personally, I believe if you're running for governor of Texas or senator or representative, if you want to be on the highway patrol for Texas, if you want to be the weatherman that gives the weather and talks about storms, hurricanes and things coming through, personally, I believe you should know the names and locations of the counties of Texas. And furthermore, I'll get into something else here that I don't get into often, but I believe if you're running for president and you want to make an impression, you get in with our system and you learn the 99 counties of Iowa so well that anybody that you talk to, you can say, oh yes, I know where that's at. And you can show that you truly care. It's not a slogan. You show that you really care. And this system helps you do that. And that's the end of my little rant, Matt. I guess
I know I won't be paid for this excellent campaign advice, but can you imagine you're a Republican or a Democrat and you're campaigning in a state that you know has always voted the opposite way. But then you come in and show that you know all of the counties of that state and your opponent can't even do that, and they've represented the state for decades. That would be a major flex. So we only have one viewer, and I'm not sure they're running for office. But if a political candidate wants to use Click and Learn to show that they're fit to represent a state, a county, a town, or a nation, I think it would be a great flex if you wanted to give it a shot, and we would be honored if you did. Iowa would be such a flex. 78, is that what you said for counties of Iowa?
99 counties of Iowa, yes.
Oh, 99, holy
Yes.
cow. Okay.
And that might take someone 99. It may take him 3 evenings, 2 or 3 hours an evening to get to where you can do that. And the other thing is we really care. We care so much. If you are interested in geography and if you have questions for us, email us. We will help you because we really care about geography and we want to help you be the best geography teacher you can. So feel free to contact us at any time. It's not just through the videos, and it's not just through the comments here, but if you're watching this video or any of our videos at any time, here's our website name, our email address. You can email us at clickandlearnsoftware@gmail.com, like Matt has on the screen. Very good, Matt. And we will do everything we can to help you be the best geography teacher. Here's the other thing I want to mention. Back in 1984, when personal computers first came out, I wanted to learn. I worked for this big company, and a lot of us wanted to learn how to use PCs. And it was a Votech, and they were recruiting teachers. And my cubicle buddy, I was talking about how I really cared, and I had actually attended a class, and I thought the teacher was not very good. So my cubicle buddy said to me, he said, "Bob, if you think you can do it, go and apply because they are looking for teachers." And I went and applied. And just like you, if you are a basketball coach, if you're a driver's ed teacher, or if you're one of the teachers that they say, "Can you teach geography?" You don't have to be an expert at the beginning, because I did not know anything about DOS. I did not know anything about PC Write, PC File, PC Data, or Lotus 1-2-3. But I learned the week before I got to that class, I would learn what I was going to teach. And with Click and Learn, if you are a new geography teacher or a substitute teacher, and you know that next week you're going to be teaching countries of South America, it takes you, as Matt showed you, it takes less than 10, 15 minutes to learn, so you can get up in front of your class and you can recite Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico. You can recite that for them, inspire them, motivate them, and challenge them to do the same that you've done. You can learn, if you're going to teach the topic of the 50 states, you can learn that in a weekend before you get in and start teaching it to your students. But I believe if you're going to be a teacher, you should know that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's very likely you'd be a social studies teacher. But if you're at a school that teaches geography and there's a full-time geography teacher, this is such an incredible tool to have. And because the games are structured in such a way, I don't know if Cetera or some of the other programs are timed, but I think it's really good that Click and Learn is, because there are so many distractions online. If you can do two things at once when you're online, you're not focused on one thing. It's not being cemented in the brain. It really helps. Test mode does feel like a relief when you have to show your stuff and you're not worried about getting it done in the time frame. But the learning process up to that point, the time is very important. Keeps me focused. I'm not picking up my Pokemon action figures and playing with them and forgetting what question I'm on. It's really important, and I think it really does help set the software apart, especially in a world where setting boundaries with technology, but also want to make sure that we're focused when we're learning. And I think, we've read so many articles. There are teachers that are very rightfully skeptical of technology in the classroom. And we're worried they're going to overcompensate too much and completely get rid of it. We do see that technology in the classroom can have a valuable application as long as it's used correctly. And that means finding that sweet middle ground. Because if kids can just log onto the computer and play games and mess around, they're not learning anything. but they can't progress through a click and learn level unless they complete it in the time frame. And you can't play Fortnite for 10 minutes and then move to the next question. And we're not dissing Fortnite, but we know that that game could definitely distract you from getting through the next level.
And the other thing is, with modern technology, just like we're doing right here, you can get in with your students, whether it's a Zoom or a Google Meet or Teams, whatever, and you can, just like we're doing, coach your students through a game. For example, Matt, how about if I play the 50-state game in test mode and you be my coach?
You got it.
Kind of give me some clues as a teacher would to a student doing it remotely, doing it in the classroom, wherever they want to work at. And I'm going to bring up the game for 50 states and I'm going to play in test mode. And Matt, you can set us up so that they can watch both of us, but you can kind of coach me through if that's okay.
You got it, Toyota.
Okay. It looks like you just brought me to the stage. So I'm going to go into, and again, these games are free. I'm going to collapse this and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to click clickylearn.fun. You can follow along with us. Click the thumbnail that says free this week. And these games are free. And I'm going to play this game, 50 states. I could play it in learn mode or review mode. And in review mode, you go through it, racing the clock and identifying all 50 states. And I think we give you a second and a half per state. So you can either play it in review mode or you can go right to test mode and play. And I think, Matt, I'm going to do it into test mode if that's what you think we might do.
That's a good idea. And just one quick thing, we have 2 viewers right now. Thank you everyone for watching. You can stop us at any time if you need help getting to the website, if you would like to play along with us as we're playing. So I'm keeping an eye on the comments. If you're watching and you would like to play too, but need a little help getting to the site, I'm keeping an eye on that for everybody. But until then, Bob is giving us a demonstration on how he would play test mode of the 50 states game.
Okay, I'm going to exit from that and I'm going to get back in. I'm going to go to clickylearn.fun. I'm going to click the button that says free this week. And you can play along with us because I'm going to get into 50 states. I click that thumbnail. I'm going to switch to test mode and I click single player. The volume is turned off because we're just talking amongst ourselves here. We want you to whisper the answers as you click. I click go. We're in test mode. We are not racing the clock. The question is at the top. It asks for New Mexico. If I get it right, I get a green light. Let's see how we can do. New Mexico. It asks for New Hampshire. Now, what do we know about New Hampshire, Matt?
From personal experience or just facts about it?
Yes, and Vermont and New Hampshire often get confused, but Vermont is shaped like the letter V as in Victor or V in Vermont. So this is New Hampshire, it's not Vermont. And that's for Delaware. Delaware, New Jersey. Where would I find New Jersey, Matt?
Well, New Jersey, we know it's on the East Coast, and we know that it's attached to Pennsylvania and New York.
Okay. And to me, I know this is hard to, it might be not be very, to me, New Jersey is shaped like the letter J, almost half of the letter J. In my mind, I feel it curving at the bottom. So this is New Jersey. That's for Iowa. Iowa is 99 counties. Indiana, where I lived in Evansville, Indiana at one point. And while I was there, I was only there a year, but I went to the Indy 500, which was darn exciting. I was on the infield because I was just a college student and didn't have any money, and the infield was cheap. But this is Indiana. I I get really excited. I want to talk about every state, but I'm just going to go through and click the first 20. I'll just do the first 20. Florida, Hawaii. We put Florida and Hawaii and Alaska down here so we can make the game fit on the screen. Idaho, Massachusetts. Click the correct button. Wyoming, I click the correct button. If I clicked it wrong, I get a red light instead of a green light. So you can see the question at the top and you can anticipate where I should click next. And it asks for Montana. Where would Alabama be, Matt? You can teach me, you can help me, guide me.
So I admit, Arkansas and Alabama can trip me up sometimes, but I know that Alabama is close to Mississippi. Mississippi is on the left side and Georgia is on the right side of Alabama. So I think that yellow state in between Mississippi and Georgia is Alabama.
And this is an example of how a teacher or a grandparent or a friend can help each other out going through the system, playing and playing and playing. Maryland, this would be Maryland. This would be Colorado. I've been through Colorado. Colorado's a beautiful state. And Mark and Matt and I were all at, when we're in Puerto Rico, we've decided where do we want to go next year? And we kind of focused in on Colorado, so because there's so much beauty there. But this is Colorado. We're not racing the clock. I've answered 15 so far. Arkansas, Georgia, as Matt just mentioned, Georgia's right down here, Connecticut. And the other thing, two goals of our system, to be able to score 100% on this mode for the 50 states or Europe or Africa, whatever, but also be able to take the map of, let's see if I have one here, map of the United States and write down the first letter of each state. Don't expect everybody to be able to spell Connecticut or Massachusetts, but when you can put an M on the map for Massachusetts or a C on the map for Connecticut, that shows you and your teacher that you know where this is Connecticut. South Carolina, Maine, California. Some are easy. California, Florida, Hawaii, and Alaska are easy, but some of them, there's another state I lived in. I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived there in 1979 when the Pirates won the World Series and the Steelers won the Super Bowl. It was just like the World Cup to Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania at the time. But this is Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, North Carolina. We know by reference this is South Carolina, this is North Carolina, Wisconsin. And Matt mentioned he has relatives in the western part of Wisconsin and Ohio. As many of you may have seen over the years in politics or anything when they're talking about Ohio, a lot of people get Iowa and Ohio mixed up, but this is Ohio. Arizona, where I live. Alaska is easy. Nevada. Where would I find Nevada, Matt?
So I know Nevada is close to California and Utah. And what helped me was when we drove to the Bonneville Salt Flats from Salt Lake City, the border of Nevada was very close. We had no idea how close we actually were until we kept driving to turn around. And we ended up in this small desert town with one casino, a small neighborhood, and this beautiful racetrack-themed diner that served excellent, excellent food. I think we got some burritos and some eggs and tea, and that was the perfect rest stop before we returned. But that was what really cemented in my head, oh my gosh, like you can take Route 80 all the way from New Jersey, go through Utah, and end up in Nevada. And it helped me remember that they're so connected.
And that was just just tiny across the border. We just barely got across the border. But those are things that we used to remember. For me, I know that the bottom of Nevada is shaped like the letter V, as in Nevada, I guess. So this to me would be Nevada. But this system shows you how you as a teacher, you as a friend, you as a grandparent, Matt is the teacher, I'm the student, we're working through this. And as for Louisiana, we were up to 30 so far. Let's just fly through the rest of these. We really want to just show how fun and exciting this is. It's Missouri, where I was born, Minnesota, Kentucky, right above Tennessee, Kansas. I lived in Overland Park, Kansas for a while, up here next to Kansas City. That'd be Kansas. South Dakota. Oh man, South Dakota is a beautiful state with the Badlands and Mount Rushmore and Wall Drug and the Corn Palace. I camped overnight in the Badlands. It was truly beautiful. South Dakota. I love geography. Oklahoma, Tennessee, West Virginia. John Denver wrote a song about how beautiful West Virginia was. And I drove through there one time and I thought, the rivers and the mountains, West Virginia, truly beautiful state. Nebraska, Texas, 254 counties in North Dakota. We're up to 41 so far. Vermont, Michigan, and this is the Upper Peninsula, what they call the Upper Peninsula. I have been in a library once and they had a map colored by the students, different colors to show the states. And the students had the Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin connected as if this was part of Wisconsin. But that's part of Michigan. Oregon, beautiful state. I think that's where Crater Lake is. Utah, we've answered 45. Illinois, Washington, state of Washington, Virginia. This is West Virginia. This is Virginia. New York. I've answered 49 so far. I'm not sure if I got one wrong as an example or if I got them all right, Matt. But if I get Mississippi right, we'll find out. Okay.
100%.
Got 100%. Yes, all of those are green. And to me, that is extremely exciting to be able to do. There's another thing. If you get 100%, and it says 50 states, I scored 100%. If you get 100%, this button appears. And when you click that button, that downloads a certificate to your computer, which you can print. And as they told us in Salt Lake City's Utah State Board of Education, there's something called a virtual portfolio. If you're applying for college, they want to know that you have experience with different technologies, whether you're making videos, or whether you're making click and learn games. When you click this button, gives you a certificate you can keep in your virtual portfolio. Or when you make your own games, that becomes part of your foundational knowledge when you are applying for college or applying for a job. And I'll just exit that. But to me, Matt, that is one of the exciting things that I love about Click and Learn.
No, I definitely agree. You know, the Salt Lake City trip was very productive. We learned so much. We also got to see Utah and a little bit of Nevada in a beautiful light. And then this year, we were very grateful to our trip to Puerto Rico, the biodiversity, the people we met, the food we ate, everything that we got to experience. Puerto Rico is a little bit smaller than New Jersey, but there is just so much packed into it. And as someone from New Jersey, I loved making those comparisons because there's a lot more going on in New Jersey than people know. And if New Jersey is one of the smaller states in the United States, and there are things in there that surprise you, who's to say the same things couldn't be applied to the Dakotas, Oklahoma, another side of the country? There's so much potential. So we love that we tackled some international geography today, these two Americans here, but it can also Geography knowledge can also help you tap into incredible things in a country you've lived in your whole life. There's so many possibilities. And you think about our largest state, Texas, 254 counties. Think of how many towns are in those counties. You have to just bet on the fact that every county has something in it that's worth your time and would pique your interest for sure.
And the other thing is, West Virginia has something called the Golden Horseshoe Award. And that's given to 2 students from each of the 55 counties every year. 8th grade students is when they do this. And the way they earn that award, and it's a coveted award. It's a little lapel pin. And they give it in your little jewel box when you earn it. But the students learn about West Virginia, learn about the counties, learn about the history, and then they compete in these academic bowls to see who knows the most. And 2 students from each state gets awarded that award. And I believe I would love to see Texas do something similar so that they have, and I'm going to tell you what I've been thinking about. I think that the 254th day of the year in Texas should be set aside in the schools all across Texas to celebrate Texas, to have that day, 254th day of the year, when we celebrate Texas. And in each school, whether they have a play about the person who founded their county, a play about, or a song about, or if someone shows that they got into the game and can recite the 254 counties. I believe that if I was a governor, which I'll never even be mayor of anything, but if I was a governor, I would have an organization where all statewide students learn about Texas. We attended a conference in Texas, in Frisco, Social Studies Conference last December. Actually, it was Halloween Day, but the title of that conference was Living Voices About Texas. And when you know the counties, and the county names are pretty much the living voices. Bowie is one of the counties. Guadalupe is one of the counties. Victoria, all of these counties that have history and an origin. And as Matt just said, there's so much even in New Jersey, the Garden State. When I visited, as Matt has mentioned, a lot of people think New Jersey is just interstates and big cities. But you get away out there a little bit and you see forest preserves, you see such a beautiful part of, and each state is like that. Each state has incredible beauty. Matt, we're down to almost 2 minutes. Is there anything, 2 hours? Is there anything else you think we should take care of before the end of 2 hours here?
Well, I just want to say, Bob, it's been a joy to do this stream with you. I'm so glad that we could discuss everything that we discussed. I think it went very well. And to the viewers that came in, we had a few people come by. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you ever need help playing the games, or you want to get into the site, or if you have a question, we have a new email to contact us and ask questions. If you email this account, Bob and our developer Dell will see it. And if they need help from me or Mark, we'd be happy to help answer. But that email is, sorry, I wrote the email wrong. Let me correct that. I apologize. It's clickandlearnsoftware@gmail.com. I wrote it like a website.
Yes,
so,
I did not. I did not know.
I wondered if Dell was calling you because I made that mistake. All right. This is the correct email address, right, Bob? It's Click and Learn Software. Oh,
no. Click and Learn Software at gmail.com. Click and Learn Software at gmail.com.
All right, that was almost perfect. I apologize for my mistake. But we would love for you to contact us at the correct email address, which this is, apologies, I'm going to get that right in the future. But it still stands. If you'd like to ask us a question, if you'd like for a game to be added to the free this week board, we would definitely take that into consideration. And we would love to see you get in and play the games. If you want to do a playthrough and tag us on a video on YouTube, we would love to see it. We want to hear your stories. We'd love to see you play the games. Contact us if you have any comments or questions. We'd really appreciate it. And this is the correct email address. Sorry, Dell, for posting the wrong one as long as I did. This is the correct one.
Yeah. And here's another thing. One of the things usually we do when we're doing a live stream is we put the games in that we're going to be playing so you can play along with us. And Matt is going to put this video up on YouTube where you can add your own comments and suggestions, but also we're going to put the Central America game into the free this week tab thumbnail. So when you go to clickandlearn.fun and you click free this week, you'll be able to play the game that Matt impressed us all with, going from 0 to where he scored 100% twice on that game after I bet it was less than 12 minutes playing that game. So anyway, this has been an exciting time for me, and Matt, I appreciate you bringing me in because I love what we're doing here.
Absolutely. Bob, thank you for everything. It was so great to not only play the games with you today, but have such a thoughtful conversation. And once again, thank you everyone who joined the stream or is just watching the video now. If you'd like to contact us with comments, questions, or suggestions, please contact us at clickandlearnsoftware@gmail.com. That's correct. We have it correct there. Have a great day, everybody, and talk soon, Bob. Great to play the game with you today.
Okay. Thank you as well. Take care, Matt. Bye-bye.